Welcome everybody to another episode of Competent Conquest. This week I play against Karl playing a list we call Heavy Hog. Mass named the old version of it Hedgehog because it has just so many spiky units. And this version has 2 heavies after Imperial Officer got forward force. So it's always going to bring in It's always going to bring in Household Guard, and then it's always going to bring in both Gilded Legion right behind it. And because they have double time, and they will both have Vanguard, they can catch up pretty well to the Household Guard. So he successfully passed both of his lights. So he's going to bring in, I believe it's 3 units of Merc Crossbows. And 2 of them with Vanguard, 2 of them without, or 1 of them without. And I don't have any lights. I'm playing Sorcerer Kings this week. And I'm playing a triple Rakshasa version, which is pretty interesting, I think. I built it to take advantage of the elemental keyword, which, you know, isn't quite as good now, but I personally really enjoy the new version of the mechanics. So I only got 1 of my mediums in, so I'm just bringing in 2 Maharajahs on 2. And I like that you can have multiple of the same ritual floating, and I like that you can determine when they go off. So one of the things I'll generally do is start Intrusive Thoughts and leave it on like 4, so that I can just do an Elemental Rites to make it pop for the next turn if I think it's going to be useful. Ignore the goals cards. I don't have a Rakshasa card, so the goals are pretending to be Rakshasas, which is just a much better use of a goals card than, you know, actually using it on a goal. This is a fairly good scenario for me. I'm able to get a lot of regiments in play and get Arcane Conduit going. I remember to double check and read Arcane Conduit here and check that it is in fact the character stand that has to be in the zone, not his regiment. That did change in the rules update for Sorcerer Kings, so I do end up like fixing that Maharajah later in the turn. So he's got 3 Mercenary Crossbows. This is pretty standard. He spreads them out, gets them in place. I bring my Raj on with Rajakur. And their plan, they really just don't want to get shot super easily, so their plan is to get in this zone and hopefully be able to get in cover. Actually, I might have misspoke. Maybe I got all 3 characters in on 2. I feel like I did. I think I did. I think I managed to pass 2 of my medium rolls, but I don't know. I might be remembering it wrong. So Maharajah goes and starts Conflagration and do the item that I have. I can start it with 2 counters instead of 1. And Karl goes to the Mercenary Crossbows. I believe he just moves up and like tries to take some pot shots, but he might not even be in range. He doesn't have a lot of good things to do, to be honest. Oh, yep, I do realize that I put a Maharajah card instead of a Raj card, so I only have the 2 mediums on turn 2. That's one of the problems I see with a lot of Sorcerer Kings lists, and it's the reason why like my optimal version of this list, for lack of a better way to put it, is probably just 1 Rakshasa, so I can get more mediums, because I really don't want to fail to get all 3 characters in on turn 2, like I did this game. I recognize that Raj doesn't have Intrusive Thoughts. I was hoping I made those cards big enough to read, but they're not really readable. So we have Conflagration and Incite Rage that we started on 1, And we're going to eventually realize that that Maharajah needs to be touching that zone and probably just swap him. One of the things that happens when you play every army in the game kind of all the time is you just you double check those little rules and just kind of fix them. Oh, maybe I didn't fix it. Maybe I just cheated. Whatever. Pretend the Maharajah is on the other side of his unit. Because I didn't remember where the Arcane Conduit rule until later in the game. So I failed both of my heavies, but I get all my mediums, or all except one of the flame casters. So we're bringing in Maharajah and Rajakur and Rakshasha and a unit of flame casters. So we're in this situation. We have a little bit of time. The nice thing about this 100 Kingdoms list is it's not going to score on you super fast. At least not in this scenario. There's only like the 2 center zones. And I can't really do much to stop him from getting them early. So I just kind of play around that. And we'll just kind of have to watch how this unfolds. I actually didn't play like super well this game. I've been messing up a lot recently. So I move back out of the zone and just to get outside of 18 from him. And then I reform. And then he goes with Noble Lord, so he's not doing anything. And yeah, this is when I double check Arcane Conduit, and I'm like, oh, I cheated last turn, and then I just fix that. But it has no bearing on the game at this point, so we're just checking on it. So I go up. I look at going forward, because if I go forward, I can get everybody in the terrain. But I realize I don't really want that. I just want to be outside of 18 of him so that he has to march and shoot me. So I bring the 3rd Rajakur, and these guys, you know, I switch it, I fix it so that we're doing the right thing here, and we're just trying to get more Arcane Conduits triggering. Like, we're really just working on getting as many ritual points as we can in these early turns in order to fuel our later turns. He's bringing in his double Gilded Legion here, and he just, as this list pretty much always does, he's just flanking his Noble Lord with them. I bring on some Flame Casters. I believe I think I just run these guys up the middle. Basically, the plan here is be slightly outside of 18 so that he has to march into 18 to shoot me so that I can march forward and shoot him. And if I do it with an elemental trigger, I can march, take aim, volley. Yeah, so I move back, so I'm 18.1, so that at the very least he has to move, which kind of sucks. Like, I'm pretty far out of position with these flame casters, but really, like, I don't want to just take free shots from Merc crossbows, and I'm just really getting zoned. This is something that the Heavy Hog list does very well. I can't attack those mercenary crossbows because the things that follow them up are devastating. So we're just trying to mitigate the damage that they do right now until we can kill them with like long range attacks, shooting spells, etc. And then not just run headlong into a screen. So Maharajah goes with Shu'laat and starts an Intrusive Thought with 2 tokens. And like doesn't really have a relevant spell cast. I'm a little bummed here because I wanted to cast a spell on my own unit to get some healing, and I just don't get all that free value. And I love free value. If I make a catchphrase, it's going to be free value. Like that. I put it on a t-shirt. Ooh, or got value, question mark. All right, that's the new catchphrase. Got value? So he's trying to make these guys move forward. That's slightly illegal because he was already wheeled. So he shouldn't have wheeled backwards like that. But that's okay. It's not a big deal. He hits with 4, which is pretty good. I'm on 3s. I take 3. I only took approximately double what was expected. So I go with the other Maharajah and I start setting up more con flags. Oh, I ended up starting Intrusive with 1 token because I realized it was not super likely to be very important in this matchup. So I just decided to go with the Maharajah who didn't have Shu'laat to start it. Because I do like having it there. There are times where it's going to be really relevant. But just into this list, like, I'm pretty outclassed, so it's not the best. So we go Raj here, and we just start a 3rd con flag. This was the first point where I really thought about maybe using Maharaja Supremacy and ticking up 2 of them, but I decided it's just with triple Arcane Conduit triggering this turn, I just get more value out of just having a lot of tokens ready, or a lot of rituals ready to go. And then I cast some random spell just to heal 2. I think I cast Aura of Death and, or maybe the like parry. I don't know. One of them is Attunement 4. I cast that one. He has the +1 caster value and ignore 3 stands for the purposes of scaling, so that he still casts on 2 successes and gets 4 dice for it. So he basically never fails. Merc crossbows move up and just shoot some Flameborns in, some free Flamecasters, and we fail all 3 saves, so we take 3 wounds. And then we bring on our first Rakshasa, and I pretty much just run him up. Like, the target here... So this is actually a slight mistake. I want to get it into the Noble Lord, right? But bringing him up over here makes him chargeable by those Household Knights. I believe they needed a 5 to make it, and just like opening him up to that was pretty bad. There was no reason for him to not just be like to the left side of my marker, except for the fact that Merc crossbows hadn't gone yet. So he moves up his Household Guard. I think he's barely able to get in the zone, but I don't remember if he does. So what I would do here with these Household Guard is I would go just tow them into the back edge of that zone, as tiny of a corner as possible, and just make sure that if the Rakshasa is able to charge me, it has to be in a position where the Gilded Legion will be able to charge it. And that is what Karl does here. So he just moves up. He tries to get as much of himself out of the water as possible. He's in the zone. He's safely there. My Flamecaster, and we're on turn 4, and he scores 2 points. My Flamecaster and both other Rakshasa come in, and I turn a conflagration on, I think. Yeah, that was a conflagration. So we add a conflag to the stack. So I make a mistake. I'm within I'm 13, or I'm like 12.4 or something away. I'm under 13, so I need a 3 to charge the Household Guard. And I take Conflag here. And realistically, well, I don't know. I'm not actually sure what the right play is. I put Conflag into play because I want to triple activate this Rakshasa this turn. I'm not entirely sure that's right. I definitely make a misplay with it later, though. Obviously, I played this game, and this is in the future. But I'll give you a spoiler. I do triple activate the Rakshasa, and I go for the March Charge Clash instead of for the Charge Dual Clash. And the Charge Dual Clash is just a much, much better play. Like, I needed a 3, and I said to Karl, it's like, all right, I'm just going to March Charge Clash, and then I'm going to roll this. And of course, I would have made it. But looking back on it, had I failed that charge, it really doesn't hurt me that very much, because I'm still a 6, like, I'm still 11 inches away from the Household Guard. So I'm still in a situation, if I fail like a 1 or 2, I'm 11 or 12. So they still can't Charge Clash me. So I'm really not threatened in any reasonable way. He wins priority here, and he goes for this charge, and he fails it, which was good for me. And then he rolls it again, and he fails it again. So he goes an inch. He's having some weird tabletop simulator things where it was measuring the lift height, so he was slightly off there. He doesn't take any damage going through the terrain. I just move up Flamecasters and shoot Merc Crossbows. Realistically, maybe these guys should have been I should have just gone with like Conflag as my second card. Done something like moved the Maharajah's unit up, Conflag to do 4 hits with one of the damage spells into the Mercenary Crossbows, then immediately activate these Flamecasters to march, aim, volley, and probably kill these Merc Crossbows. But I didn't do that, so I was expecting to do, I did a reasonable amount of damage, like that part was fine. But like these guys were going, and I think I do march them up to get within 12, because my plan is still to go Conflag. So I Elemental Rights to actually tick up 2 this time. I go with the non-Warlord Maharajah, because he usually wants to start spells. And then we cast a nuke to get 4 hits into the Mercenary Crossbows. And Karl saves 2 of them, but he does fail both resolves, I believe, so he loses a stand. And we're really just trying to whittle those guys down as best we can. We're in a situation where we're just going to be taking turns blasting each other. Trying to decide what to do with these Household Knights. He brings the Household Knights up my left flank to try to get on the side of my Maharajah's unit. It's fine to do that. I don't think it's that exciting for him. He goes Mercenary Crossbows. He goes with the ones that haven't been damaged, I think. Or no, he wants to leave those ones because he wants to be able to do something with them and the Gilded Legion. So he just shoots he just take aim volleys into my Flamecasters and does 4 wounds. So my poor Flamecasters over here getting beat up, but at least they got their shots off first this turn. Other Maharajah goes, casts a nuke, gets 3 hits. He saves 1 of those and passes 1 of the resolves. So we did 7 hits. We should have done 10 wounds, and we've done 7 wounds. So it's a little frustrating that those guys are as healthy as they are right now. But, you know, that's part of it. Yeah, so 7, he should save 1.6 and some change. So he should take about 6 wounds, and then he should fail 2/3 of those. So he should take about 4 more. So we should have done 9.8 or something instead of 7. Not a huge deal. It's just, you know, those guys are slightly more alive than I'd like them to be when they're getting these shots off. It's only like 3 shots, so he just reforms and he shoots into my Flamecasters. 7 shots, but only hits once, so that part worked out. You know, we're fine. We're fine taking 1 hit. I roll it, I fail it, so we're good. Rakshasa, we're gonna bring on a fresh one. I'm a little undecided on what to do with this one. I think about bringing it over here to like support against these knights, but he actually doesn't have anything else coming in over there. And I ask that in the middle of like measuring it out. And I'm like, oh, all right, well, if you don't have anything coming in over there, we're just gonna go here. We're going to be in the center of the board. We have very long threat with Rakshasas under Elemental, so we just want to put them in a situation where they're very safe. He goes Mercenary Crossbows. This is good for me. Like, one of the reasons I really hoped I would be able to kill one of these Merc Crossbow units, is that if I did that, these ones would probably be locked into activating earlier, so that he theoretically wouldn't be able to jump them with Gilded Legion. So this is what we were hoping for here, is that these Mercenary Crossbows would have to shoot something. He shoots the Rakshasa, who feels very good about everything and makes a bunch of saves. So now I trigger Conflag, and we just cast another nuke, and it's 4 hits, because it just always goes off with 4. He's on 1, so he takes 3, 4, 5, which does finish them off exactly. And then we go into this Rakshasa. So here's what I was talking about earlier. This charge is makeable with a March Charge Clash. So I thought the duel was a free action. Spoilers, at one point in playtesting it was. I'm glad it's not. Like, it shouldn't be, but I thought I could just March Charge Clash duel, or March Charge duel clash. And I couldn't do that, so we remeasured where it was, and then we talked about it a lot, and realistically, this is a mistake. The math on it is, if I march forward, like if I go forward like 2 inches, I'm not in threat. Like, he maybe could go for the need a 6 to roll, but that's actually not that great for him, because he gets charged by Raj and Rajakur, which actually, with the Deadly Blades, with the Cleave 1 Deadly Blades spell, like, they actually truck him pretty good. So it's really not a position those Household Guard want to be in. And, you know, there's still another Rakshasa coming on. And, like, 66% of the time I just make the charge. So I really should have just gone for the charge. Just gone for the charge and rolled it. I did roll it afterwards, and I would have made it. So, but we go for the impacts. We get 3 impacts. He's saving on 3s. So he takes 1. He's resolve 5. He's actually resolve 4, but that's fine, because I am still terrifying. So I have 15 attacks, and they're on 4s. And part of this is I whiffed, right? Like, 15 attacks on 4s, I should do like 11 hits. And then he rolls a bunch of 6s into saves. So he still only saves 3 out of the 11. or out of the 9. That's actually pretty close to what he should end up taking. So he only takes a few wounds here. Now, the mistake that I made, the reason this really matters is that he's not running the version of this list where he's always inspired, which means doing that created a situation for me that was pretty bad. By making that charge, I didn't demoralize him, right? So he's going to get to inspire smack back, which just almost for sure just kills me. Really, there's a good argument to be made that I should have just, like, charged the Household Knights and killed them. But I got antsy. I wanted to make a play, and it was probably a mistake. So I go with Raj here, and I cast the Molten Blade spell, I think. I don't really remember. It doesn't really matter what I cast on them. I take up Conflagration and another Conflagration, as I decide I don't want Incite Rage this turn. And then I cast a spell, and then I fail the charge into the Household Knights, and I just march forward, right? Like, I cast Deadly Blades and cleave 1, and then I just fail to charge the Household Knights. Which is fine. Like, a failed charge there means that I'm on Arcane, or I'm on Conduit, and a successful charge means that his Knights are dead. So either way, it's pretty good for me. His Household Guard go, and they beat the ever-living crap out of me. They only take 1 from Aura of Death, so I don't get rid of a stand. And then he has 22 swings. Actually, is that right? So he's got 4 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stands. So yeah, 22 swings. And I just die. Like, I just die to the Clashback from those Household Guard. I move my Flamecasters up. I want them to be able to get into the zone, assuming I lose my back rank. So I'm like right on this edge of it, so I can march forward and have 1 stand, get into the zone. I move up and I shoot him, and I think that's right. It's close. I don't know. I did 7 hits. They're not going to do a whole lot, but if I can get like 2 or 3 damage through, then there's a chance that if he charges me, he loses a stand to the terrain. Just because he's charging through Deadly Ground, and that's amusing enough to me to do it. So he scores both zones here, gets 6 points. This is frustrating. I can't really do anything about it, right? Like, if I charge into him, I can't do anything. So this is just another reason why, like, the duel was more important, because he wouldn't score that middle zone. He's obviously going to decline the duel. So I would have prevented him from scoring, even if he killed me. But he's much less likely to kill me because he's not inspired. And he takes more damage because he's Resolve 2 plus size, so he would be Resolve on 3s, rerolling 1s. So there's just going for the charge was the better play. And I basically threw a Rakshasa away for 2.5 stands of Household Guard, and that's pretty bad. He almost certainly wouldn't have been able to charge me if I just charged him, because he would have like overlapped with either. If I had failed the charge, he would have been overlapping with either of his Merc crossbows, so he probably couldn't charge me. And even if he could, he'd be out of position, and then he gets charged by the Rajakur with Molten Blades. Oh, this is why, like, you have to factor in all of those steps, and to really realize, like, how bad you play sometimes. So I put 2 rituals in. I put a Conflag and an Incite Rage. The Incite Rage is a mistake here. I don't really have a good way to get a caster within 12 of anything to really pull off Incite Rage. So I probably should have gone for either double conflag or just only one conflag this turn. And like ticked up the conflag and the insight. Realistically, intrusive's pretty decent here because I can probably march into range against those Gilded Legion and turn off their scoring so I can at least cost them scores for a turn. But I don't know. Mistakes happen. So I go first. I go Flamecasters, and I just take aim and volley. I hit with 7. I believe this cleans these guys up. 5 wounds. Nope, we leave them on 1. Ironically, I think that's actually fine. Yeah, so the Household Knights have to charge into Rajakur. I'm not that scared of them, right? These impacts are on 2s. I'm still getting my defense against them because of Harden. I can take aim volley with Flamecasters, and I can heal a little bit. So like it's a little rough, but it's really not the end of the world. So I end up taking like 8 wounds total, which I don't know, maybe it wasn't worth it, but we go with Raj here. We cast Molten Blades. We heal a stand. We heal 2 wounds, which brings a stand back. And we take up Conflag and Intrusive Thoughts, which I actually think I forgot to do, which is, not ideal. So he goes with the March Charge from Household Knights here. It's fine. It keeps him out of line of sight from the Maharajah, so that it's more difficult for me to cast on him. I take 3. I mean, it's just impacts. It's not that scary. So I go with Rajakur, and I don't really need to do anything with any of them, so I just go with the engaged one. I pass on a 4 because of Resolve, and I just reform into a 4-wide line. And yeah. So my plan is just to blast him with the spell later. So I just reform into a 4-wide and just gonna shoot him in the face with bullets. I activate them. I only hit with 3. And then with Maharajah hit with a few. So he takes 6 total, so 2 wounds. And he fails both Resolve, so he takes a wound. Or so he loses a stand. His Mercenary Crossbows go. I believe, just take aim volleys. I think he's probably making some mistakes here. Oh no, so he goes for the reform march with these guys to kind of get in the way of the Rakshasa, which is a smart play. I go Rajakur, and I don't really want to get in range of Gilded Legion until they're in a more vulnerable position. So I think I march backwards and reform. Yeah, I march backwards and reform so that I'll be able to use Maharajah to nuke the Household Knights. Oh no, I guess not. Maybe I guess I move forward. I don't know. I actually think moving back and shooting the Household Knights, my initial plan there, was probably right. But I wanted shock, I think. I wanted shock. I think that's what I was going for. So I cast a lightning bolt into the cav, and they only, so it, 4 successes turns into 7 hits, and then he saves, or 3 successes turns into 7 hits, and then he saves a bunch. Maybe I don't know. I cast one of the spells, so it was 7 hits, and he saves a bunch of them, and he takes 3 total after it resolves. I go with the Warlord Maharajah, and then I cast lightning bolts into the Gilded Legion, and they take no damage, which is pretty good for them. They didn't want to take damage, and then they didn't, so that's probably ideal. If I was a Gilded Legion, I would prefer to take no damage instead of taking some. Yeah, it's Fire Maharajah is on the left, and Air Maharajah is on the right. So I cast the lightning bolt, and it did nothing. Realistically, it might have made sense for me to cast the +2 March spell on the Rakshasa here, because it's only for the 1 action, but oh yeah, so I go Flamecasters and I shoot into the Knight some more. Karl moves up his Gilded Legion. He wants to get 4 stands in the zone because he knows that I can charge a Rakshasa in and steal the zone from him if he's on 1 stand. And since those guys have to activate now, basically, he doesn't want to create a situation where he loses one of the center zones to a Rakshasa activation. This is part of the reason I put 2 rituals in the deck for this turn, is I just get a lot of value that way. He also wanted to move the Gilded Legion so that I couldn't march out of their line of sight, or march into their flank, and then be able to get shock off of an Insight Rage. This is one of those times, though, like, part of the reason I said that I made a mistake here is if I had cast the +2 move speed spell on this Rakshasa right here, I could probably go for the March charge clash into the flank of the Household Guard this turn. Though I still wouldn't be able to get Insight on them because they're not within 12 of a caster. So I'm going with Rajakur now, and I'm just like doing my best to murder these Household Knights, and I do. Like, they definitely die. We have Molten Blades, so he takes 7 wounds off that before we even get to resolves. He goes with Gilded Legion. He's just marching them up and getting them in the zone and putting them like right behind some Mercenary Crossbows. It's a good place for him. It's safe. Really kind of nothing. No risk there. His Mercenary Crossbows get to be an effective screen here, which I hate. So I flip Insight Rage, and like, I really just wish it was Conflag, which is a mistake I made last turn. I should have just put double Conflag in. Largely because I need to do another blast spell into these Household Knights, and I just get a lot more value out of that. So I Insight Rage the Gilded Legion, and I charge them, and I get 1 corner of my stand in, and I touch his character, which actually sucks because he has Armor of Dominion, so I don't get Cleave. But I get a charge, I get 2 impacts, they both hit. He saves them. I didn't actually flip the Rakshasa card. There we go. And then we have Flurry, because we duel, he declines, we have Flurry. Which we needed, because we didn't roll very well. So we get 12 hits. He's saving on 4s. And he fails 5 of them, so that's pretty good for me. And then he is Resolve of 3, plus Size. So he's Resolve 5 minus 1 goes to 4. And he takes 4 of those. So he takes 9, which is not great math for him. I wanted to see something here. Yeah, so he would have had 2 rerolls on those wounds, and he forgot the Best of Men aura. So he goes with Household Guard, and he makes them a little wider too. His plan here is to really protect his flanks, but this is actually a mistake. So I go with Conflag, or I flip Conflag, and I just lightning or Sorok burn to cinders. I just burn to cinders the Household Knights for 7 hits again. This is why that Household Knights like march charging into the flank of these Rajakur doesn't really do anything. Yeah, they're just going to get blown up by a Maharajah over a few turns. So he's got a couple wounds left. He's broken. The last Rakshasa gets triggered off this. So we're doing a big wheel. And then a little bit of a march. And then we automatically get to charge off to this corner. So we're march charge clashing again. And this time it's much better because he doesn't get to go immediately after me and kill me. So we do our 5 impacts. We hit with all of them, and then he whiffs his defense roll, taking all 5, and this is really big, of course. And then we hit with 11, and we have Jadu, so we hit with 11 on a 15, and he's on 2s. He's on 2s rerolling 6s, so he takes 6 more. And he's down to Resolve 3. So then that breaks him. He still scores the zone because he still has Gilded Legion, but it's pretty good. I do really wish I had gone for Intrusive this turn instead of the Incite Rage that did nothing, because if I'd gone for Intrusive, I could have used Raj to, like, had it be my second to last card instead of Conflag, have Conflag earlier, and then have Raj shut off the scoring from the Gilded Legion here, and prevent some victory points. So with Arcane Conduits, we finish a Conflagration. And I just put Rakshasa as my first card. I don't need to triple activate it. We don't really need to do anything especially, well, special here, because those those Household Guard are dead enough that I'm not really worried if they go. So I'm really hoping to just win priority and like just dual clash the dual clash the Gilded Legion. And I have fewer cards than him here, I believe. So maybe the same. So he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh no, I have way more cards. So I'm pretty likely to just like lose a Rakshasa to Gilded Legion here. But if I can win a priority, it's pretty big. So I'm feeling fairly fairly in control. And I'm not guaranteed to, like, I'm not that likely to die to the Gilded Legion swing. Like, I could die to it, but if I live, like, I just win the game, right? Like, I just want to go first so that I can duel him, and I roll a 1, which is very good. Karl rolls a 3, so I definitely go Rakshasa, and I just go duel into Gilded Legion, and he declines because he has to, or he dies, and then I clash. So we have 15 attacks. They're hitting on 3s, rerolling misses. So we get 13 hits. Then he's saving on 2s, rerolling fails there. He saves 9 of them. So he does extremely well on that. You know, saving like he was saving on 4s. Then he goes with Gilded Legion, and the other one's like, I think he goes for this. I don't think he goes for the charge, and I think he should. Like, I don't think he really gains anything by going with the one that's engaged. Oh, he can't fit. He doesn't fit between his mercenary crossbows and my my Rajakur, so he's stuck there. So he hits with 11, and then we're like, no, there's Aura of Death, and he's like, ah, crap. So then he goes back, and he has to roll, like, a few less attacks, and then he hits with 11. So it works out. So I have 11 saves on 2s, and I make 6 of them, which is pretty good, but I still shouldn't die to that. Like, I should be alive on, you know, a couple wounds like I am. Like, I think I take like 9, and I should probably take like 12. So I go with the other Rakshasa here. This is mostly like I was planning on just cycling through my deck, but I did figure if I won priority, he might have Gilded Legion first, and I might get to do this exact play. So I hem and haw over this a little bit, and I just go for the Clash No Inspire. And I hit with a bunch of them. And he fails enough to die. And he doesn't get to go down fighting. So I just Clash No Inspire. And then I wheel. Trying to like set up a flank charge on these Gilded Legion for next turn. Because I know... TTS messes up, and I got distracted by it. So, like, I end up, like, wheeling, and I end up over here somewhere. It's not a great position, and it's not ideal, and when you try to wheel on these hills, sometimes the model gets stuck and just does who knows what, and this is one of those cases. So we do lose another stand of Rajakur here. And we're very sad about it. So his Gilded Legion have gone, so we just charge him in the flank. It's not really a reason, like a big reason to make this charge, except that we're getting more stands in the zone. We're just like really trying to score it. And also, like, now I'm touching him, and I can Lightning Bolt him for 7 hits when Conflag comes up and when the Maharajah's action comes up. That's why the Rajakur went first. Like, I really want to get those extra 4 hits off my Lightning Bolt. And we get a little bit of damage through. Like, he takes 3. Failed 2 saves from the Clash, and then... So we get a little bit of damage through. Oh, he was not actually Resolve 5. That was what happened. So yeah, he took 2 and then failed 2. So he's got Mercenary Crossbows. And I think he's just shooting stuff. Like, that's... He doesn't really have, like, great plays with the Merc Crossbows here. Like, you do damage, right? They're Mercenary Crossbows. You just shoot what you can shoot. So I take 3 wounds again. This is from the big unit. It's just, you know, it's slowly killing my boys. Raj is going to go ahead and cast... I think he just goes for Dread Aura of Death. Because we're in a situation where we can't really do anything. We can't really do anything very exciting. So I think we just charge and kill Mercenary Crossbows. Realistically, we should have probably just moved up to the Mercenary Crossbows, and the Gilded Legion would have been screwed for another turn. So yeah, I just heal, and then I go with Rajakur. And then I charge and kill Merc Crossbows. So we go through the, I can't actually make this, and then I realize now, watching this, what that should have done is forced his Mercenary Crossbows to wheel to me. Because I got stuck on the building, so he would have to wheel to me, because I was able to make contact with him prior to that. And then... So I end up having to charge in a way that doesn't get me into the zone. Realistically, though, I shouldn't have charged here. There was not really any reason to do it. Like, those Mercenary Crossbows could just have another turn of shooting. I should have, like, reformed and marched a little closer to the Merc Crossbows so that he couldn't actually do anything with his Gilded Legion. And then, you know, he's kind of stuck. Because those Mercenary Crossbows can shoot me the whole game. If the Gilded Legion aren't doing anything until after his left flank is collapsed, and I have 2 Rakshasa running at them, I'm pretty happy with that situation. So realistically, I make a mistake here. I shouldn't kill these Merc Crossbows. There's just no reason to kill them. My thinking on it is I want to march my Flamecasters forward and take some shots, but I could have just like double marched sideways. Or like marched sideways, and then probably just once. And then yeah, so the Mercenary Crossbows die. And then Karl goes with the other ones. And I think he just reform shoots me. I don't remember. He's still broken. Otherwise, the play here is definitely just to like reform, charge the Rakshasa in the flank so that it's just stuck there next turn. Although it has Aura of Death, so I could probably just put that Rakshasa last and not really care. So he takes... Oh, that was the Maharajah casting a lightning bolt. This is a Rajakur. They're just going to Inspire Clash to try to finish that guy off. I probably should have just clashed without inspiring, because I had Blessed on the Maharajah. And then if I can kill that thing, I can reform. I don't think the reform gets me in range to shoot the Gilded Legion anyway. So it's probably moot, but it's still better to have that reform afterwards. And the Maharajah's attacks, we're going to finish it off. So yeah, these Gilded Legion get to charge me. I have Aura of Death and Dread, so they're not they're uninspired. He does take a wound from the terrain. Ha ha ha, deadly getting ya. And then he is going to just shoot me a bunch, or slash me a bunch. So he hits with 14. That's, you know, basically average. I'm saving on 3s, and I blow this roll out of the water. So I take 3 of them. Now, but like I said, these are attacks I shouldn't have even taken. It was just simply a mistake to take these hits. So 4 dice to Lightning Bolt into his Gilded Legion. And it goes off on 4 hits, which turns into 7 hits. And I add Intrusive Thoughts to my deck. Not really the best card here, but, you know, I gotta get something going. Flamecasters, I think I just, like, take aim volley this guy. I kill him. So we kill off the last Merc crossbow. Realistically, like, it might have been better for me to unbreak and charge him, because he was only on 2 wounds, so I have a reasonable chance of killing him. And even if I don't, like, a broken Mercenary crossbow isn't going to do anything to me in combat the next turn. And it just gets my... Oh no, so I shot without inspiring, or without take aim, and then I march forward. And the lightning bolt goes off. These guys take a bunch of damage. They're on like 3 remaining wounds, and they're broken. Stuff is not going well for the household guard and my flamecaster, or for the Gilded Legion. These flamecasters, I measure to see how far I can go. So I just move up, and I get in position to shoot into his flank. I obviously want to, with my neck, I want to walk into the zone and shoot him. So I got half shots. So this is a March volley, because they were elementaled off of the con flag. And then yeah, I bring Conflag and Intrusive Thoughts into my deck for next turn, so I'm gonna have 2 ritual, or 2 like activations. I'm probably gonna lose priority here, and then I'm probably gonna lose Raj and Rajakur. But I think the correct play is actually to set Conflag as my first card, with Rakshasha as my second card, and then try to cast Aura of Death Dread on the Raj, and go with the March Charge Clash from the Rakshasha into the flank, to like split his attacks as best I can. Because then he'll have 2 stands. Well, at least 1 stand that has to shoot, or that has to go attack the Rakshasha. But at this point, like, we can see the game's in pretty good shape for Sorcerer Kings. Like, we're definitely going to win the left flank. We're probably not going to lose the Rakshasa. We're going to be able to start picking up zones from there. And we just have too many things left to try to kill these Gilded Legion for them to survive. If I win priority on this turn, and I go Conflag for Aura of Death Dread, activate Rakshasa to charge Clash into the Gilded Legion, And then my next card is Raj to go like Deadly Blades into Rajakur. That's pretty good. And if I lose priority, I probably lose those guys. But like he then gets like lightning bolted over here, and the Rakshasa still like March Charge clashes so that it can't fail, and we're still in pretty good shape. I don't think I did that. I don't think I put Conflag first, which, you know, was smart of me. It's always very easy when I look back at games to be like, well, this is how I should have stacked it. But somehow, during the game, I make a couple mistakes every time. So I roll a 3 and he rolls a 4. Then I roll a 6 and he wins. So he goes Gilded Legion, and he just Inspire Clashes here. And he hits with 21 or 22. And I'm like moving the thing the wrong way because I was like, oh no, it can't possibly be 22. So then I take 22. So I take 10. And that breaks me. And I die. So that was his Inspire Clash. And my die fighting goes off, and I hit 4 times. And he takes 2 wounds from that. Good job, die fighting. And fails both resolves, because of course. Okay, so I did put Conflag first. So I didn't get my sweet, like, Raj into Rakshasa, like, super play. So I just Lightning Bolt him. Oh, and then I go Flamecasters. Okay, so I march to get everybody in the zone and then take aim volley. It really should have been Rakshasa here. But it's fine. So we have 19 shots in the flank. On 3s. With Torrential. So I do very badly. So I only get 9 hits. So he's saving on 3s. Or saving on 4s. As he's Bastion. So I do like 2 wounds. So that was slightly depressing. And then I have to charge with this Rakshasa. And this is the real reason this is a mistake, is because I'm like, I need a 3, I think. And I roll a 1 and I fail it. And the March Charge Clash is just so much, you know, obviously safer because it can't fail. So I reform these guys. So we're in cleanup mode here. Basically what happens is I'm going to reform. The Raj is dead, so I can't intrusive anything relevant. This guy can't really get anywhere relevant. So he just like reforms and marches. And then I'm going to kind of fast forward here. So I'm going to get all of the Rakshasas in range to just try to run them all at Gilded Legion. Like I can move this last Flamecaster just like right in front of the Gilded Legion so that they can't like do anything else to anybody, and they're just gonna eat free charges. And then I get the Maharajah set up so that he can go to this back corner zone, and the other one's gonna set up to go to this middle zone. I decided to just go for the Gilded Legion can't see anything plan, so that this Flamecaster can zoom to this back zone, and I can at least contest this one this turn because he's got to stand in it. So we get these. We reform one of the Maharaja units and reform the other one, so they're just aimed to both just double march and start taking zones, and then. We set up the deck here. I win priority, so I get a Rakshasa charge in the flank before he gets Bastion up. And then I don't have Jadoo up, which is a little sad, but whatever. So we only do 8 hits, but it doesn't really matter because he's saving on 2s, so he still takes 5 of those. And then he's on resolve 5 down to 4, but at least he has to reroll successes. So the Gilded Legion go, and they make a bunch of attacks into the full health Rakshasa, but that doesn't really do much. You know, like, it's fine, but it's not really going to change a whole lot. Because he's not going to die. And then I cast some spells that don't really do anything to just heal some wounds. Flamecaster starts moving into position. Those guys go in. This Rakshasa just kind of sets up to charge on the following turn. And then, like, I score 3 zones. And then on 9, I'm going to score 4 zones. And his Gilded Legion are broken now because they lost 3 stands on the previous turn. I go second again, so they go, but they don't kill the... they're not going to get to kill the Rakshasa. It took a few more wounds, and I charge him. And I bump some stuff with TTS, and I finish him off between these 2 Rakshasa swings, obviously. And then I take 4 zones, and I score 4 zones on turn 9 and turn 10. That's really, like, the big play here. I'm not going to get pulled off the zone because he's going to die before that. And, yeah. So, ultimately, like, I missed, like, an arcane... Alright, I missed one of my, like, elemental rights triggers, which it's important to not forget those. But really, like, the big, like, mistakes that were made in this game were pretty early on, where his Gilded Legion kind of got held up. I really could have exploited it a second time when he, like, set up a screen. Like, screens are kind of dangerous in Conquest, because a lot of times you'll set up a screen, and then you'll be put in a situation where, like, you have to activate, and your screen, and they just, like, moved in front of your screen. So, like, you have to activate, and you can't do anything. And then they kill your screen with shooting and then charge you if they have a lot more cards than you. So that can be a pretty big mistake. So, like, let's go back to this situation. Like, let's say I just marched in front of these guys and didn't do anything. Then the Gilded Legion don't do anything this turn. And I can just move Flamecasters up and shoot the Mercenary Crossbows. And then he can go with the Mercenary Crossbows and, like, flee. He can withdraw so that he dies, and then he'll be able to charge me. But that guarantees that I get my first activation off. Like, if I had killed these guys, his Gilded Legion would just be stuck here. And then the next turn, I'd be able to be like, okay, well, I can for sure go Conflag into this March Charge Clash, and then your Gilded Legion are not in position to do anything here. So, I don't know. It's just one of those things that, like, can really mess you up. Screens are good, but there's something that people can play around. If I hadn't charged and killed these guys here, he would be held up by his own Mercenary Crossbows in a way that I think just is pretty detrimental to him. But yeah, I think Sorcerer Kings are a good faction. I don't think Triple Rakshasa is the play. It's just 2 of them is, you know, I can replace the 2 of them, which is 520 points, with 2 units of with what, like 2 sword Ifrit and 1 more Flamecaster. And it's just like, there's just a lot of value there. It's really hard to be like, yeah, I don't want, you know, an extra card in my army and 3 more medium dice to try to get all 3 characters in on 2. Like, just getting all your characters in early is just so valuable. that I really think Sorcerer Kings are pretty much in the maybe 1 light, maybe 1 heavy, 8 or 9 mediums. Like, 7 to 9 mediums. As many mediums as you can fit. But yeah, that's me for this week, and hopefully you'll catch next week where, I don't know, we'll play a game. So, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thanks again for watching. Hopefully it helped. Have a good night.